Hello. Just trying to make a quick video here, if I may, regarding the car mount that I'm working on for my Nexus 7. As you can see, it's certainly a work in progress, but this is actually the fourth different version. I started out with this monstrosity. It was horrible by design and horrible by execution, but yeah, I had never worked with fiberglass before, so I'm actually surprised I had gotten where I was in as few attempts as I've made. This is the second version, or what's left of it. I abandoned that one as well, and then came this thing. So I kind of went from alpha to beta to release candidate here. I probably got one more final sanding to do on this. Been using 150 grit. I'll probably drop it down to something much finer than that, so I can get some of these. I got some ridges right here to knock down. I'm not too concerned about the back. I mean, you can see some rough spots here. I don't know if the camera will focus on that or not, but there's some rough spots there. Not concerned about the back though, because you're never going to see it. So as long as it's smooth and I can get it to paint well, that's what I'm looking for out of the back. This here is in better shape than the camera leads you to believe. There's some notches here and then on the edge itself. But I plan on sanding that down a little bit and getting rid of that. Same thing with this little notch right there. We'll sand that down and it'll be in good shape. As for the front, the screen is completely exposed. Got a nice lip here on the bottom to keep it secure as well. Currently, it is obviously not finished. Currently, it's just being held together. The plate, the frame on the front is just being held together with screws. I plan on putting nuts and bolts in place of that for the final finished product. But even as it is, it's holding it just fine. What else? Oh, the frame will be covered in some sort of protective fabric, suede, something to that effect. On the back, it'll wrap down the bottom of the lip, and on the side that touches the front glass as well, on that edge there and that edge there. So it'll be nice and safe in there, and it'll cover up the screw heads as well, which there's enough wiggle room right now that it clears those easily because they're not raised up much. But just to prevent scratches and scuffs and things like that, it'll be covered with fabric. It's funny though that the frame, if you look at it, is as clean and neat as it is. I was terrified that this would be the hardest part of the build. Would be making the frame that fits snugly and looked nice. But I tell you what, that came out amazing for the first attempt. Never having done anything like this with fiberglass or any material for that matter. But yeah, I'm happy with it overall, but very happy with the frame. Obviously, like I said, and this was clean earlier. I must have just knocked it earlier tonight. I might possibly take down these front edges a little bit and give this a steeper curve here on the top. One, because of the notch here, which is a result of me wanting to have the back higher than the front to make it easier to slide in. So these notches became a natural result of that from whatever reason, the way I was sanding it or something. But yeah, so I don't know, I might take those down a little bit more. I might leave it as it is. I mean, it works just fine. It's just those notches are kind of, I don't know, they're kind of annoying. Not really an eyesore, they're just annoying. But anyway, it's ready for primer. Like I said, I got to do some more light sanding, but like an idiot, we're painters, we're not prepared, so we don't have like screwdrivers and stuff around here. There's a drill, but the battery's dead and the boss took the charger with him. But yeah, so I can't take the screws out. I drove all the way down here from home tonight to give it the final sanding, and I can't do that. So I guess I'm gonna leave it as it is right now, and we'll do that in the morning, prime it in the morning, and then I'll go to work at the other job and come back and start painting. So yeah, there you may notice, obviously, I don't know, I've been moving around a lot, but you can see it from the back more obviously here, that it is off-centered. Now that is deliberate, that is done on purpose. The problem with the dash in the car is that the deck, the stereo, doesn't line up perfectly with the ashtray. It's actually off-centered. The stereo's further to the left by like an inch. And so I wanted it to line up, the edges of the tablet here and here, to line up with the deck, with the stereo. I wasn't concerned with it lining up with the ashtray. And this would also make it a little bit closer to the driver, so easier to access by an inch. So yeah, that's the reason for that. But the reason for the build, I guess, maybe that's important. The reason for doing this to begin with. I do not trust suction cups or sticky, whatever material they want to call it, for some of these mounts that you slap on your dash. I'm not going to trust that tablet to a sticky pad. No chance in hell. So I looked into the floor mount type, and those unfortunately wouldn't work with my Cadillac either. The screw, because it doesn't have a bolt, it's just a Phillips head screw on the bottom of my seat, is too far back underneath the chair in order for these flexible arms to reach it. So even if I went that route, I wouldn't be able to access the tablet because the arm would be too short and the tablet wouldn't reach out from beyond the chair. Kind of lame. So it's one of those situations where if you can't find something that works, you gotta make it. So that's what I did. Picked up some fiberglass on the cheap. A friend of mine, a coworker's husband, gave me some fiberglass cloth, and I went to the automotive store, I think Advanced Auto, and picked up some resin and the Bondo, and then just went to town. Kind of taught myself on the fly. Like I said, I went through several versions over there before I finally started to get close to what I wanted to, where I wanted to be, which is unobtrusive, out of the way, secure, stable, and sleek. And which I'd have to say I think I nailed it. On the way here tonight from home, I had it in just as is with the tablet in the mount, and it didn't move more than like a fraction of a centimeter. It was about a 15-18 minute drive, and that was over one set of train tracks and several side streets that can be a little bit bumpy. And this thing held up like a champ, and that's without the final security measure that I plan on putting on here, which is a 2x4 piece of Velcro that'll adhere on the bottom here, which is why these square notches are kind of cut out to accommodate for that space, so it still sits flush on the dash, or on the ashtray. There'll be one side of the Velcro will be stuck to these, the other side will be stuck to the bottom of the ashtray slot, and it'll actually be extending out, like I said, maybe about 2 inches or so, 1.5 inches beyond this, and beyond the back of the ashtray well. And it'll wrap, the Velcro will wrap up and to the bottom side then of the ashtray well. And so when I put this mount in, and when I stick it into the ashtray like such, the Velcro on this piece I will pull and adhere to the back as well. So it'll be stuck on here, and it'll be stuck on the back side as it wraps around. So it'll be wicked secure, which is probably overkill at this point, seeing how it performed tonight. But anyway, this video is almost 10 minutes long now. This is getting ridiculous. So yeah, there you have it. Semi-permanent tablet mount for the Google Nexus 7. Thanks y'all. We'll see you later. Peace.